What is going on, Mile High City? Welcome back to Broncos Country News. I'm your host and anchor, Caleb Malden. So, George Paton has now officially become the Denver Broncos GM. Of course, it leads to a lot of questions about personnel decisions, who he's going to bring in, who he's not. But, of course, the big question is, what is he going to do about number 3, Drew Lock? What's he going to do about our quarterback position? Because a lot of sources indicate, one, he does like building inside out. He likes homegrown talents. He's big on the draft, and in his press conference, he said drafting players is going to be big on identity. Now, I do hope free agency still matters because the Broncos have been pretty good in free agency, especially as of late. That's kind of where Elway thrived. So now we're going to get Paton, who is known for being more of a draft stock guy. And, I mean, the Vikings have had some good drafts as of late. I mean, their first round pick kind of solidified their class. I got Justin Jefferson out of that class. And so let's see what they got. I would say that all signs indicated toward Drew Lock pretty much being the starter going into day one of 2021 season. And reports from Woody Page and Mike Kliss at 9 News, all signs are pointing toward Drew Lock being the guy when the Broncos step on the field in 2021. And I think, of course, you know how I feel about this. I think this is a good thing. And I remember Cameron Parker on Twitter, who's a writer for Predominantly Orange, which is a Bronco blog website. He quoted George Paton as saying that he likes Drew. He's seen the film on Drew Lock. He said that he can tell he wants to be great. He has all the talent to be great. He can develop. So clearly George Paton knows that Drew Lock has something. He doesn't think that the cupboard is bare with Drew. But he also said, we're going to help give him the resources to be great, which is a very key sentence because that doesn't just mean great weapons in terms of the receiving core, a solid running game. It doesn't just mean having a great stout offensive line or good coaching. It means all of it. You got to have stability with the coaching staff. Drew has to at least have a stable system, which is why I think they're keeping the staff around. They at least know, okay, we can't just shake up the system every few years and expect things to change. We got to at least give this team a chance to grow. Second, we have to supply Drew with some quality weapons, and I think we got them. Obviously, Judy and Kamler, Deshaun Hamilton. I don't know if he'll be on the team next year, but he still looks nice. Patrick had a breakout season. He was our best receiver by far. Noah Fant had a great year at tight end position. Cortland Sutton's going to come back. Albert O looked pretty solid before he got hurt. Hope he comes back okay. But not to say there was an improvement from the offense. I mean, obviously, Garrett Bowles saw the biggest improvement. He didn't allow a single sack all year, so I feel good about that. Reisner still looked good at the guard position. Cushenberry was named to an all-rookie team, so at least, you know, Cush is going to get better. Right guard, right tackle, there's still some shuffle there. Juwan James may be coming back, though I have mixed feelings about that, though. That's for way down along the line, addressing the Juwan James thing. What I'm thinking right now, just from the Drew Lock perspective, I am not against bringing in a cheap veteran to compete or push him. I'm not against that. And it can't be Jeff Driscoll because Jeff was never going to challenge Drew for the job. I don't know who they're going to bring in terms of a cheap veteran. And I'm just going to say this, you can flush the Watson and Stafford dreams down the drain. And like I said in a previous video, if you want to bring back Justin Simmons, you can't take Watson or Stafford because those contracts are too much. We would have to really take on those contracts, and then we might have room to sign Simmons, but that would take up a huge chunk of the cap space. Then, of course, you can't bring Vaughn back if they want to bring him back, and that's a whole nother can of worms. You can't bring back Shelby Harris. Tendering Phillip Lindsay probably wouldn't even be able to happen even if they wanted to do it. You just want the big names, and trust me, I love Deshaun Watson. It's just absurd what they'd be asking for him. Also, we'd have to give up a top 10 pick, and we have a chance to get a really good talent in the top 10, and I know Deshaun is a top 10 talent, but nah. Like, I'll stick with our draft pick. I want to see, and George Paton is big on keeping draft picks. He actually wants to get more draft picks. So I'm okay with that. In terms of a cheap vet to compete for Drew Lock, I don't know who they bring in. I'm going to have to see some of the names out in the free agent market, and no, it wouldn't be a young guy. That wouldn't help. So no, it won't be like Sam Darnold or anything. That's out the window. Everything has kind of indicated that they're not taking a QB in the top 10, which means Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley, who are two names that Denver's projected to get at corner. I'm good with either of those two picks. I like that George Paton is at least going to give Drew a shot, which makes sense because, again, if this thing works, then all he has to do is build up the roster and keep it going, keep the core flowing, and help get this team eventually to a championship with Drew Lock at the helm. And if this thing works out, George Paton, congrats. You get to share in the glory of, Elway laid the foundations, but you were the one that made the most of it. You were the one who made this team into what we thought they could be. And if it doesn't work, you can just blow this thing up and you can bring in your own crew, and it's no blight on your record. It makes total sense. So, I did like what Vic Fangio said. He wanted George Paton to see Drew Lock's film and to see what he thought of the young quarterback, and clearly that they're going to give him a shot. I think that I would expect them to bring in competition, which makes a lot of sense because Rippin, I like the kid, but I don't know if he'd ever challenge Drew for the starting job. Same goes for Jeff Driscoll. They'd have to bring in a veteran just to show Drew that it's not going to be easy, and he's not just going to be given the job. When it comes to quarterbacks, I like Drew Lock, and I think he did earn the starting job this year with his performance from the first 5 games last year. I've been big on, unless you draft a guy in the top 10, you cannot just give him a starting job. If he's a top 10 talent, fine, I'm okay with that. And the only way I'd be okay with them not giving the top 10 talent a starting job is if, they have an established veteran ahead of them, like, say, Daniel Jones, when they initially had Eli Manning ahead of him, even though that did not last very long and Daniel Jones went in anyway. But unless you draft a quarterback in the top 10, they should not be guaranteed a starting job, because what they'll need to learn is you got to earn your way there. Because if you just give them the starting job, they may not take it as seriously because they just know, hey, I got endless job security. I'm a first-round pick. I know you're not going to bail on me yet. Of course, now that doesn't mean that... I don't think that there's laziness. I think these guys do want to succeed. But we have seen in the past, and we've seen recently, some first-round picks don't take it as seriously as others, like, say, Dwayne Haskins. We've seen that. And I do think that quarterbacks need to earn their jobs, which is why second, third round quarterbacks definitely, they know that struggle. They'll probably have someone ahead of them that they'll have to earn the job against. I mean, Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick. He wasn't really supposed to play, and then Romo gets hurt, and then Prescott goes in. Credit to Dak Prescott. He takes the job, and he never looks back. Jared Goff was a number 1 overall pick, and they had Case Keenum ahead of him, and probably just because they had Jeff Fisher at the helm. And granted, had they started Goff, that season was just bad, and then they brought in McVay and everything changed. But for example, Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 quarterback. He's going to be the day 1 starter for the Jacksonville Jaguars, most likely. I mean, unless he gets injured. I would imagine that he will be the day 1 starter for Jacksonville. And then whoever goes number 2, I imagine will be the day 1 starter for the New York Jets. And that's if they don't stick with Sam Darnold, which I don't expect them to. So, I do think bringing in competition for Drew is a good thing. Push him a little bit, but the kid works hard. He seems to, and George Paton's evaluation of Drew was a positive one, though he did say that we're still evaluating things. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do, but this is just, of course, my opinion on what I think was going to happen with George Paton and Drew Lock. I think this is a good thing. So be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next video I'm working on is going to be something a little more fun. You guys will find out. I'm working on this video. Hopefully I can get it done. Again, I was originally going to make recap videos based on my follow-ups when I previewed the offense and defense back in the summer. But I kind of scrapped those 2 videos because it's like, I just want to do something else. Like, other videos, ideas came to mind, and I thought they were more fun. So I wanted to, because I'm gonna have a bit more fun now. The football season is kind of like almost dying down. I mean, now we have like the conference title games, then we have the Super Bowl, and then it's kind of a dead period, and then the free agency period starts. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Please know your thoughts down in the comments below. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll put the links in the description below. Be sure to check out my podcast and my blog, and I'll put the links for both of those in the description below. Anyways, that's it for me. Broncos Country 303. I'll see you guys later.